So good to
Oh,
see you.
it is so exciting every single time. Yeah,
I
being
know.
live is terrifying, but
So good.
I to
So
think I'm
fun.
just having a conversation with you and we're okay.
That's right. We're just doing this. I am checking on my phone to make sure
Just
that
to see if we're actually
we're going live, which I see us live. Yay. Everything is
okay. We did it.
going. We did it. It's always like that initial like, okay.
Are we live?
Are we live? Do
Well,
people
listening.
Yes. Yes, I see you. Yay, Jamie. Welcome. As you guys are joining, say hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited to be here with you all. And this is actually kind of special because we sort of somehow decided that this was going to be like a live podcast recording.
This
So,
is so different. Yeah. We've been talking about a live podcast for a while now to be able to
yes.
include the audience in this space. But yeah, it's sort of how this happened without meaning to, but yeah, I love it.
I guess that's just how it goes, right? With the energy of the divine of just like, yeah, this is what's going to happen now. And here we are. And this is so cool. So you guys get to be part of our podcast recording. So
So
good.
cool.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Margaret, Faith. So happy to see you all here.
So good. Welcome,
Yes.
welcome.
Amazing, amazing. So today we are going to be talking about remembering who you truly are and really getting into the conversation around remembrance and lineage, because that feels like it's been coming through strongly and kind of helping to bring a more grounded, practical awareness around what lineage actually is.
Mhm.
And I think that once we start talking about it, you guys will be like, oh, like I actually like when I once this was coming through when we were tuning in and we were like, oh, like that's actually really simple and a really beautiful way to start to just think about our journey in our everyday life and how we're showing up and how every moment is contributing to our path of our highest potential and
Mhm.
remembering who you truly are. So
Yeah.
I'm just excited. I'm so
I
excited for
just
this.
can't wait. And yeah, I can't wait to hear all the stories you're going to tell us today. But for me, it's just always felt like spiritual jargon. It's like,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah,
mean? What is that? What do I do with that? And the lineage and this and the remembrance is like, but what? I don't know.
yeah.
So those terms don't fully click and make sense in your lived experience in your day to day. So it's like I love it because this is, gets to be like practical in your day to day, just practical spirituality. Like, what does that mean, really?
Right.
So
Exactly.
because it's not that complicated, it's not that. Yeah, it sounds way more
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, sophisticated than what it actually
Yeah.
is and how that shows up in everyday life. Because when we talked about lineage, we know there's like ancestors and lineage from your like family and where
Right.
you come from in terms of your family unit, but there's also like other energies that come into your
Yeah.
soul that are also part of your lineage. So then we're talking about ascended masters and like other guides and other types of energy. So we're going to cover all of that, but then what does that mean to this rediscover my lineage and remember my lineage and yeah, it doesn't, it's not that fancy, it's not that complicated, so we're going to walk everyone through what
Exactly.
that looks like, so I love it.
I love it too. And I think my favorite part about it is that it's not something that you have to like go and like even dedicate any amount of time to really. It's not like you have to go sit and meditate in this specific way or call on these specific it's not even like that. It's just living your life, but now with this awareness and now noticing these things. And
Hmm.
we're going to talk about what those things are in a second or in a few moments. But first, I have to share my dream with you because it just
I
happened
love it.
last night and I feel like it's so relevant to this conversation somehow. I don't know like I don't know. It's just
I feel
when those
like your
things
dreams
happen.
are just so active lately, like you've been, just for the audience because we talk like all the time,
Yeah.
we're just messaging each other, and every morning for like a week now it's like I have to tell you about my dream. And so every morning I've been waking up like 5 a.m. in the morning. I'll have a message from Christina, like, I
Yeah.
need to tell you about this crazy dream. And you were there. And I'm like,
Exactly. Yes. You know, it's actually been my dreams have been really active recently. It's
yeah.
been so crazy, and I've been having different connections with different people in my dreams too. Like constantly
Mm.
I have people in my dreams, and like most of it's people who I know or clients or whoever, and then I'm like messaging people like,
Messaging
"By
everybody.
the way, you were my dream and this is what happened." you
That
know.
could mean something. So just letting you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this is one of those, and Luisa doesn't know this dream. I did not tell her. I said, "I have a dream to share, but I'm gonna tell you on the recording
Oh my
because"
God, my ears are ringing and everything. What is this dream?
Okay, so this is crazy, and I'm wearing it here. So, this is such a beautiful okay, I'm gonna bring it up close to the camera so
We can see
you
it.
can
We can
see.
see it. Yeah.
Okay. It's a beautiful, beautiful Kuan Yin necklace
Yes.
that was gifted to me by this wonderful, amazing woman that is sitting with us here today, Louisa. So when she came to visit me in San Diego back in September,
Hmm.
she gifted this to me.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of been hanging out around, whatever. And I love it. And it's just, but I've not thought too much about it. In my dream last night, you
Oh,
were giving me this. Again, like I
yeah.
don't know where we even were. I just know that you were giving this to me, and this necklace was like such a focal point of the dream where it was just like, here, like you need to wear this, like here's this necklace. But the interesting thing in the dream is that I was saying to you, I was like, "Oh, yeah, wow, I definitely need to have this." And also so interesting because I have a silver Kuan Yin necklace, and like I can add this to my collection, even though in real life I do not have any
Yeah.
other Kuan Yin necklace. But it was so interesting because like that was, I mean, that is honestly the gist of the dream. Like that's really all that happened. But it was just this connection with Kuan Yin to the necklace, to the fact that I have this necklace, and I now cannot remember if because I thought about wearing this on the live stream, and I can't remember if I thought about it before my dream, like yesterday or the day before, kind of had a fleeting thought of like, oh, I'm gonna wear that necklace in the live stream for
For the
some
life.
reason.
Yeah.
And then I had the dream, or if I just thought about it now after the dream. I can't, I don't know. It's all jumbled in my mind now. But it was just so interesting that Kuan Yin came through in this way and
Yeah.
kind of like representing this like physical connection. And then the crazy part too is that just a few days ago, I was sitting in meditation and she came through in my meditation, and I was not calling on her. I was
Yeah.
not even thinking about her.
Yeah.
Like nothing about Kuan Yin was even anywhere in my awareness. And as I was sitting in my meditation a few days ago, and the reason why I even went into meditation that time was because I was feeling very like frantic in my energy, kind of like I was
Yeah.
like rushing and like and like kind of like anxious and all these things. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I need to relax and calm down. Like I'm gonna go in meditation.
Yeah.
And I just started to tune into my breath and just breathe. And then within a few moments, boom, Kuan Yin is there. And I was like, okay, hi, cool. Like, I love, like, thank you for showing up. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just this energy and her presence coming through and being aware of her now, like the second
Yeah.
time she's coming forward recently. Yeah, I don't know, but that was my dream, and I just really felt called to share this as we and it's connected, and I'll share some things as we continue and talk about things. But yeah, I don't know. She obviously is coming forward very strongly. I feel also specifically in regards to this topic of remembrance, this
Yeah.
conversation, and of course, we've been doing a lot of work recently in regards to divine feminine and how that's part of remembrance. And of course, Kuan Yin is related to that. But I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting and wanted to share.
Let me add
Yes.
to the fun synchronicity of Kuan Yin. So I love the dream. And it's so funny how she's been trying to, like, it seems like she's trying to get our attention lately. Well, I love Buddhism and that I visit, I have a local temple here that I go to. My mom's visiting. So that's definitely one of those places where I take her. We went with Elena recently, but then we went on our own. And all sorts of crazy things happen when we were able to go on our own and just sit and meditate and kind of communicate with different deities and all of that. But Long story short, the last time we went to the Buddhist temple, because I gave you that necklace that was my necklace originally. So we went back to the temple, and the first thing I did was like, okay, I need to get my
Yeah.
necklace. And then I got one for me, one for mom. And then, of course, our first stop before we even entered the temple was there's a Kuan Yin, a beautiful Kuan Yin like statue. I'll put it on my socials later for anyone curious. And we were just there, and she told us that, oh, I'm missing the third. And we're like, yes, we're not here with Elena today. It's just the two of us. Um, and she invited us in. Anyways, there was a lovely conversation. Um, we went through the temple, so great. Talked to her a couple of times, came back home. Mom has her necklace just like I do. Then one, we were in the afternoon around the apartment, and I find the medal alone, like on the floor. And I'm like, oh no. Of course, I'm blaming Elena in my mind. I'm like, oh my God, she just ripped it open. Where is it? What happened? But then I notice that it's closed. Like there's nowhere, like the
Oh,
thread couldn't have gone anywhere because the it was closed. So I'm like, how did it got separated? And then, anyways, I thought it was mine. It was not mine. It turns out it was my mom's necklace. I go into her room and I'm like, look what I found. Do you know where you put the thread? And like, I'm wearing it. What do you mean? And she pulls up and it's tied up. So the thread is tied up. The loop on the metal is perfectly closed. How did it get? She's trying to get our attention. Like she's trying
whoa.
to say, like, look at me, like notice
Yeah,
me and connect with me. So she's definitely been trying to
that's crazy.
connect with us. On top of that, because we went to the temple and I got some books and a little stamp, and my mom was like, took a bunch of them. She wants to take them back home for my aunts and whatever. And I was like, are those you took all this stamp? Like I took a couple of Huan Ying ones because it's like a nice something to
Yeah.
have. Like when I read, I just put it in the book. Um, and she was like, no, yours are somewhere. They're telling me that yours are somewhere else. So don't, you're gonna find them. Before sitting here today, a few minutes ago, I go to my room to grab something, and then the stamps fall out of they were on my jewelry box because I was putting on these earrings, and I brought her
Oh,
to my
wow.
desk. So she's here with Mother Mary and Kuan Yin, and she's right there this morning. She's never there. Never.
That's
I just brought
crazy.
her today because she popped out of literally jumped at me. And so it's crazy how present she is for some reason. And of course it's connected to, I mean, we're preparing for the retreat, so a lot of
Yeah.
feminine energy. But I do feel like Kuan Yin in particular, we must have connection. We must I know we have a connection from a previous lifetime where
Mhm.
we probably worked with her and in some capacity. And so I do know there's like a going back to remembrance and going back to lineage. I know there's work that we started with her like lifetimes
Mhm.
ago, perhaps, and she's coming back like to,
Right.
remind us that she's there and she's with us and she's still working with us. So,
Yeah.
but it's so funny how she's trying to get our attention, like in funny way,
That's so crazy and so
right?
amazing and so beautiful, and I just love the synchronicity.
The
That's
synchronicity.
so cool, and it just makes me think of how when remembrance is unfolding, let's say, and beginning, because I feel like, bringing it back to our previous YouTube live stream conversation, which is really about awakening and kind of like becoming awakened and all of that. I feel like the next part of the process is remembrance, and the ways in which remembrance you start to notice it is one when you start to notice what keeps showing up in your energy and in your field, like with Kuan Yin, like our example of Kuan Yin today. It's
Yeah.
just like,
Every,
okay, Kuan
I
Yin,
see you.
obviously, definitely, she keeps showing up. We're not going outside and like seeking it, on
Not
our
at
own.
all. It's
She's coming into the field. And so, us noticing it, that's part of the remembrance starting to unfold and starting to happen. And another part of that too is also when you start to notice what you're being called towards. Just naturally, what are you called towards? What do you feel drawn to, whether it's divine feminine or angels or ascended masters, or a combination of it. It doesn't have to be one specific thing. But all of these are ways in which we can start to recognize that our soul is wanting to remember. We are ready to remember more of who we are. And so, our job, when we start to notice these things, like for example, Luisa and I, and our homework today and whatever is going to
Connect
be
with Kuan
to
Yin and see what's
connect with Kuan
up.
Yin. Exactly. Invite her energy in and allow that energy to be present in our lives in whatever way she wants to come forward. So that's similarly an invitation for everyone who's listening. Whatever you've been noticing recently coming into your field, whatever has been just like popping up over and over again, that's a sign that you are in the process of remembering. And I feel like the process of remembering is also something that's not like, it's not like, when you're trying to think of like, oh, where did I put my, keys? Oh, I remember. It's not like a thing that just comes in and it's like, oh, now I know the thing. I feel like remembrance is more of a slower, more of a devotional process that we have to commit ourselves to. Like we have to devote ourselves to the process and not try to rush it, because that's the thing too, is that when we try to rush, then we become dysregulated, we miss the signs, we miss the answers. It's kind of like we go into ego mode. And that's
Yeah.
actually part of, when I was in meditation last week, that was part of what Kuan Yin was saying to me, and the message she was bringing through is she was saying, rushing doesn't get you into alignment. You can't rush into alignment. You have to be devoted, and devotion slows you down. But slowing down is actually the process. But our human mind is so resistant to slowing down. Our human mind is always go, 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 da, 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 da. Like, I need to do this. If I'm not doing it, then I'm falling behind. And I can't, like, it always needs to fill the space. But Kuan Yin was like, no, like, you need to actually slow down, because in that devotional energy, as you're slowing down, you become regulated. And when you're regulated within your body, within your nervous system, all of that, that's when the actual remembrance and the connection can fully form and come in, you know?
Mhm.
So,
That's so beautiful, and I just see a couple comments in the chat where a lot. She's very present for some of the people in this room as well, and that's fabulous. But yeah, it's essentially, so when you talk about remembrance, it's not so complex. It's not like a download of information and all of a sudden you remember past lives and you have clarity around, this is how I connected with Kuan Yin and this is my mission and this is what I'm supposed to do. And it's not, well, it
yeah.
can be, but it's not necessarily that. It's simply find those little obsessions and how you've been called to a topic, a deity, an energy, an ascended master. It's something that's just you're gonna know it because it becomes an
Right.
obsession, and you just can't. I couldn't get enough of angels for a while, and I just needed to know everything, read every book, work with you, like anything angel was just that
Yeah.
was it. Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Mary Magdalene. I've had a few of those when it's like I
Yeah.
feel the
I'm
calling. I feel
obsessed.
I'm so
Yeah.
pulled and obsessed with this stuff. So that's your
That's
soul
remembrance.
just letting you know that there's something of sort of calling back an aspect of yourself, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that you're going to remember everything, that you're going to go to the ethereal realms and connect with it. You can. Good
Yeah.
for you if you do. But if you don't, just be at peace with the fact that your soul is calling back whatever you need in this lifetime. It
Exactly.
doesn't look like perfect clarity. It doesn't look like all the answers. It doesn't look like you're playing back the movie of a past life necessarily. But
Yeah.
your soul will take back whatever it needs in this lifetime to make you whole and to give you what you need for this embodiment, for this lifetime, and whatever you need to do here. You have exactly what you need. So don't worry if that remembrance doesn't feel like, I know 3 lifetimes ago I started something with
Right.
Kwame and this is my time.
Right.
No, not necessarily like that. So yeah, I think that's very important to know, because we set such high expectations when it comes to spirituality, awakening,
Mhm.
remembrance, and not every experience is the same, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. So we're feeling the rush of, I'm not there yet, I need to do
Yeah,
something, I'm supposed to see something, I'm supposed to hear something, and maybe not, and that's okay. So
exactly.
don't rush into anything, just let
Yes.
it come.
Exactly. And I think that's such a huge part of this is yeah, it's not about remembrance doesn't necessarily equal to like exactly what you said, like, oh, now through my clairs, I'm able to see all these things or hear all these things or whatever. It's just noticing what energy is existing around you and what you're being called towards. And that's exactly like, of course, the other energy that's been coming forward a lot recently is Jesus.
Oh,
He's been
he
coming.
just can't miss anything. He just needs to be so
Right.
involved. Personal engagement. I love it. I
Exactly.
love it.
He's so involved in all of this. And that was one of the things around how it's like, yeah, it like lineage, like when we speak about lineage, when we speak about remembrance, it isn't necessarily about the being able to define or describe a past life, for example. But I think when we think about remembrance or like memory and all that, that's just where we naturally go, just because
Yeah,
it logically makes sense to our brain. Like, let me remember my past life. And it's not to say that there's no value in knowing your past life if you're interested in doing that, if you're interested in learning that and exploring that, that's great and it's beautiful and empowering and whatever, but I don't feel like it's a requirement. The
right.
thing that Jesus is bringing forward when it comes to lineage is it's understanding that it's at the core of it, it's the energetic signature that you carry. So it's the energy that you're carrying as a being, like who you are. And obviously, because we are multidimensional beings, there's going to be many layers to that. There's going to be the
Yeah.
layers like, yeah, there is a past life, past lives layer incorporated in that. There is also ancestral energy that's incorporated in that because obviously part of who you are in this lifetime, you're a human. Your human has ancestors, like it's going to be influential. But the biggest part of it is that your lineage, when we say lineage, it's directly connected to your soul's full expression and the freedom to be who you are. And I think that's at the core of all of it. So when it comes to when we were talking about earlier, what's coming into your field, what are you feeling drawn towards, if it's angels or in our case Kuan Yin right now. So Kuan Yin, as we connect with her, she's helping us to remember part of the lineage, part of that experience that is connected to our soul's full expression and freedom to be who we are here to be in this lifetime. And that's going to be very unique and individual for every single person. We're just using Kuan Yin as the example, and I obviously many people resonate with her energy too anyways, but just using that as an example. So if you're drawn to angels, then the angelic energy is part of supporting you in remembering your lineage, that there's a connection there for you when it comes to your soul's full expression and freedom to be who you're here to be.
I love that. I love that because it's an energetic signature. That's all it is. So your soul is just carrying knowledge and connections and information from when it was created, and you just carry all that wisdom within you. That's also the part that I find so beautiful. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a clear memory of past lives. But if that is your path, you'll be obsessed with past life regressions, and you'll find
Yeah.
your way to the memory that you're calling back. Like, absolutely, you will. And in our case, just to share like a little bit about Jesus and the Jesus connection, we're absolutely sure that we started working with him lifetimes ago, and we're just carrying on a work and a task that was given to us a long time ago, and we've been finding each other and working together. But it's all him, so that's why he's so involved because
Right.
he did send us on kind of a mission, and we're here, like, carrying on that task. So um but you don't necessarily remember what I was obsessed when that came through. I was like, I need to know what happened and when and how, and it's not like that. You just get the energetic signature you just get. You just, that's all you need to know. You don't need to remember anything else. That's all you need to know. That's the connection your soul needed to make in this lifetime. And now you know the importance of the task. And now go on your way and do the things with full confidence that this energy is behind you and we have your back and we have been here for a very long time, which I think that's also beautiful about lineage, whatever that looks like for you. And is that knowing that you're held, that you're supported, that there's a soul family so much bigger than you can
Right.
imagine, that you're divinely loved and supported by beings that you just don't even know. And it's so amazing. You're so loved, you're so supported, and there's so many beings and energies invested in your happiness, fulfillment, on you achieving your goals, your life purpose, your soul purpose. So for me, that's also so beautiful about lineage, and is the sense of community in
Mm,
an energetic spiritual way. And that there's, yeah, there's just so much love and support behind the scenes. We have no idea
yeah.
um, how held and supported we are for whatever it is that we want to do. So if you're feeling alone, um, just know that
Yeah.
your ancestors, that there's a lineage, and they're all here with you always. You just have to call on them.
Yeah, 1,000%. I think you touched on that so beautifully, like the community piece of it, because I think that that's so important. I mean, I feel like we've talked about this many times now, but there's, we can keep talking about it, and it's just as important to hear it again and again and again is the power of that community because I feel like, well, there's, I don't know, multiple reasons around this. But for one, I feel like when we're in community together, like we are right now online, people are tuning in, listening in, even if you're listening to this after it was recorded, like you're still part of it energetically. And so, even being in a space like this together right now, there's a sense of belonging and there's a sense of, well, I can just be myself. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to these conversations and even why we started the podcast in the first place is to be able to have these conversations and for people to feel that they can just be themselves. And it's moments like that when you can just when you in you can even think of this from past experiences, moments or experiences where you felt deeply like yourself. You weren't afraid of someone judging you. You weren't trying to perform or try to be this or try to be that or whatever, even if it's like subtly and subconsciously, but just fully yourself.
Hmm.
That is part of lineage. When you have that feeling of this just feels so normal and so natural to me.
Yeah.
That's lineage. If you've ever gone to a place physically, like even a temple or church, or even outside of those things, like going to the beach, like when I first came to California and
Oh
I went
dear.
to that ocean, I was just like, oh my gosh, yes, I belong here. Like that feeling of just, yes, I belong here. This feels so good. This feels so natural. This is just part of who I am or where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
That is all lineage. So when you think about your everyday life, the more that you can intentionally, I mean, obviously it's not perfect, but when we can set intentions to be in spaces or be with people or whatever that evoke those kinds of feelings and that kind of
Hmm.
knowing of like, oh, that just feels so good. It feels so natural. It feels so just so like, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. That is all you remembering your lineage and remembering who you truly are. And
Hmm.
and that's also why we are so excited about the retreat in Joshua Tree because it just takes that to a whole new level of coming together in person for multiple days, and it's like our sacred space. Like I think of it of this like sacred space that we are literally creating. I think of the dome energy. We talked about this
Yeah.
in our rose codes conversation one of the times of like that dome and how it's this sacred energy that's surrounding us that we get to be together and amplify that energy, and regardless of if you're able to come in person or not, but just community, however you're able to find it, in whatever way you're able to connect with it, the people. it's part of your remembrance, and it's
Yeah.
so important to recognize that.
It's so beautiful when when you find yourself like, and for I know this for me and what my experience has been in remembrance, and there's nothing more liberating than, yeah, finding your tribe, finding someone like within this friendship and the safety of just talking about anything and everything. And it's just, you can be fully yourself, think that you've never told family or friends, or this is not something you talk about at work, this is not something. So when you find that person, or those connections where you can be fully, and openly yourself, it feels like home. And that's the
Mhm.
remembrance, and those are the soul connections that are so important, and that's the lineage, that's your tribe, that's your people. So I think it's so important. And yeah, we've talked about this before, the community aspect, when you can be in a safe environment where you can be fully yourself and you can talk about your experiences and how Kuan Yin shows up for you and what color her energy is, and you don't feel like you're going to be sent to a special place and that you're safe in exploring those connections. That's a beautiful thing. And that's, I think, yeah, with the podcast from the beginning, it's creating a safe space to have these conversations and to explore these topics in a safe environment, and to be able to share and be curious and explore. But yeah, and then going back to our in-person connection that we're going to have, um it's, yeah, it's having a safe environment to explore that remembrance, what it looks like for you. We've all go through life wondering, what do I come from and why, and what's my purpose, and there's a reason for it. And all these little obsessions, those are the breadcrumbs, right? And those are the little clues from the divine to send us on our path, for our highest good. So if you're obsessed with Kuan Yin, with Mother Mary, whoever it may be, with angels, whatever your thing is, um, just follow that intuition. There's something for your soul there, and there's a message. I remember when I was called to this work, and to just make that soul connection with you in this lifetime, Christina. And I was just obsessed. I was thinking about the certification day and night. I just needed to find a way to make it work. I didn't know why, but this seemed like I was gonna miss out on something big for my life, and I needed to do this for myself because I never spend money on myself, by the way. And I think, if there's any moms out there, they'll relate
Yeah.
to this. Like, you're the last investment, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I need to invest in myself right now. And this is something that's going to bring me so much joy and happiness. And I can't wait to do this. And I just need to. And how that
Oh
changed
my gosh.
my life so much. If I had known that I
Right.
was this close of just not doing it and missing out on something so big and so fulfilling and so amazing in my life. So if you feel that tingly, if you're curious, if you feel called, explore, just explore it,
Yeah.
whatever that is for you. And we're not talking about the retreat necessarily, but whatever that obsession is, follow it. Follow
Mhm.
it, because you don't, the only way is through, and on the other side you'll know why. If it's nature communication, if it's divine feminine, if it's angel, whatever you're into,
Yeah.
follow that call. It's your soul trying to bring back a little piece of itself, and it's important to listen. So whatever that looks like for you. If I can, yeah, give any if I'm not, I shouldn't be giving advice to anyone, but if there's one thing I know, it's how much of a difference that made in my life. So yeah, follow the calling of your soul, whatever that looks like. It, you have no idea how important that can be.
Right. Yeah. I think that's so powerful and so important because we have to think about it too. If we're in this on this journey and we are saying to ourselves, okay, I'm building this spiritual connection, I'm trusting in the divine, in angels, in my higher self, my soul, etc., whatever, then a way in which we're able to deepen and ground and fully establish that connection is by when the awareness comes up around, okay, this is where I'm being called to do or called to go or whatever, to follow that, because you know what I mean, like it connects everything, because then we're kind of saying, okay, I'm trusting in the divine and my soul and all that, but then when the calling comes in or the thing comes in, but we deny it, then it's kind of like, well, it's hard to help when you're not following the thing that we're trying to lead you towards. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And that's why it doesn't make sense. But then when you look back, you understand, why was I so obsessed with this person? Why
Yeah.
did I needed to get on that plane and go to this place? And why does this, the connection with the ocean or with a city or with a person, and then you look back and it's like, yeah, that now it makes sense why it felt like I had to follow that
Yes.
calling, whatever that is. So um that's soul remembrance. It's that simple.
Yes.
Just follow that intuition, just follow those pulls. There's a reason, and it's for your highest good. So don't miss out. If you
Mhm.
need to go to the water, if you need to, explore that city, if you just need to be with that person, just know that, yeah, your soul is behind the scenes, the universe, divinity, however you want to call it. There's so many beings behind the scenes trying to, you know, get you to pay attention and come home to yourself at the end of the day. So it's
Yeah.
such a beautiful thing. So as long as for you, as you're asking yourself, is this for my highest good? Is this for, my biggest purpose in life? And following that intuition, you're gonna find your way to happiness, to fulfillment, to so many good things. So just
Yeah.
follow the breadcrumbs. That's all I.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love this comment that came through from Lucia. I've been drawn in the direction that will serve the highest good and sole purpose. It's always been beneficial to
Yeah,
listen slash feel. Yes.
right.
1,000%. 1,000%. I love that. And in that soul remembrance, that lineage, I feel like the biggest thing is that when as I see it as an energy that also kind of grows within like in our energy fields. So as we surround ourselves with people, let's say, where we can be our true selves and where we feel this sense of like this feels so good and so natural to me when we surround ourselves or I should say step into environments where it also evokes those feelings. What happens and the reason why it's so important and the reason why we're talking about lineage and soul remembrance in the first place is because this part of the process and recognizing it and then continuing to follow it and nurture that and cultivate that, it's what's going to help you to get really rooted and grounded in who you are, in your identity, so that if you're noticing that maybe you compare yourself or maybe you're judging yourself or maybe you're doubting yourself or feeling like you're behind or whatever, any of those feelings that can come up, what that's just simply an indication that you start to look outside of yourself about or for something or for answers. But when you are grounded here, when you are rooted in this, when you have that kind of like stabilized energy within you that is connected to lineage, that's connected to this remembrance, then it's like, I'm just going to be who I am. Like, it doesn't matter like what that person is doing or this person or whatever, because I know who I am and I'm going to show up for this because that's what I'm being called to do. And then that's it. It takes away that whole energy around like, am I doing the right thing? What are people going to think? What are they going to say? What, like all of that that stops so many people from showing up as their true self. As Jesus said, it's about the full expression of your soul and the freedom to be who you truly are. And if you don't feel that freedom, or if you don't feel like you're able to be fully yourself, then that's an important feedback as well for you to just notice for yourself. Okay, what in my life, the people that I'm hanging out with, my environment, etc., like what there can I bring intention towards changing so that I can be free to be my true self,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's contraction, and where you don't feel like you can fit in, where you feel like you're not fully seen, that you can be your full self. Those are very important clues also of the kinds of things we should not follow so closely. And so yeah, those are all good indications, and that's what soul remembrance is really about, is that little compass that we carry within us. And just yeah, it's that simple. So beyond, other more complex definitions, because for us awakening and soul remembrance and all those things tend to be a little bit more complicated, but that's it. what feels like home, people, places, how are you feeling like you shine, what are the topics, what are the things, and just step fully into those spaces and be the fullest expression of who you are and who you came here to be.
Yeah.
And it can, yeah, change your life drastically for the better. So have that courage to do that for yourself,
Yes.
and you'll see it. And it's so fast. Once you start listening and following the guidance, and it's just like, yeah, you're
Yeah.
jumping on the cliff and there's no going back. And it's so quick. You have no idea. And so it's very exciting when you start to listen to your own, yeah, inner guidance and
Yeah.
let that remembrance unfold.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I love that even just like us being able to come together like this, like we're sitting in community right now talking about these things, like even this conversation right now, we are literally as we're talking about it, as you guys are contributing in the chat, as you are even just listening and receiving and but just being part of it through listening. We are literally creating a field of energy around this. And as we, again, through speaking, conversating about it, or just listening, we are within that energy field and it is contributing to our remembrance. It's as simple as that, where it's like, and so if you've ever had an experience, I know I've had many of those where either I'm reading a book or I'm listening to a YouTube of someone like saying something, and you have that, like, oh, like you're tuned into that field and tuned into that energy. And so that's going to, if there's coherence there, if there's alignment there, then it's going to support you. It's going to contribute to your remembrance and contribute to you coming back to that energy. And so when we sit together, like when we're gathered, when we gather in person, for example, that just amplifies. It's just amplified in person. It's amplified when we physically create a circle, when, all of these things that we are able to do, it adds to this energy. And so you can think of it as like I'm stepping into the field. I'm stepping into this energy of remembrance, of my lineage, of who I truly am, and allowing what comes through to come forward. And I think that's an important part of the retreat, specifically, too, speaking specifically towards that and what we're creating in Joshua Tree. It's literally like a space that we're holding and creating for you to enter into this field and allow what's meant to come forward, what's meant to be revealed to happen. There's no pressure around like you have to get these answers or you're, like whatever. Like some I feel like sometimes people have this in the back of their head, and so just speaking to that, like there's no sense of like you have to be able to see or hear or know or whatever. It's really about trusting in the fact that if you're called to this work and to this energy of remembrance, that what's meant for you, what's meant to come forward is going to come in because you're placing yourself into the field of energy where it's
Right.
being amplified in that moment, you
Yeah.
know?
It's yeah, it's absolutely true, and we've talked about this like behind the scenes when we're putting the exciting part for us is just stepping into community and doing this together. We're on this journey as well. So for us to call back whatever we need to call back and connect and just to have that energy of community, of our sisters of the rose and the people who are meant to be in this space with us, is just a beautiful journey that we're taking on together. So what I'm just curious is what's going to come up like in
Right.
practice and what we're going to remember, what's going to unfold in meditation together. So you just never know. Also, because when you're in just your day-to-day life, there's always laundry, there's always dishes, there's always work, there's always an email, there's a thousand things that pull you in different directions every single day. So what's exciting to me, just speaking for myself, is a weekend away, running away from my family for a weekend, and just being with myself. That alone, and the spaciousness, and the opportunity to sit in silence and devoting a day to nature walks and meditation and journaling and practice and rituals is just a dream come true. Just from the perspective of giving to myself, giving
Mhm.
back to myself filling my cup, being in an environment that I want to be in, and enjoying, of course, the beautiful setting and the sisterhood of just women in there just on the same journey as me. That's beautiful. And then on the woo woo side of things, just what can happen. I mean, we've seen this when we meditate together, even online, and the kinds of things that happen and how amazing that is. But, amplify that times X, right? With all these people in community and the kinds of things that happen in meditation when we're together in circle, and how that amplifies the energy, and to be able to share and learn from other people's experiences. Like your Kuan Yin experience was just a piece of the puzzle. I have I have the other piece of the puzzle. So only like being in community with all these women is that we're gonna find
Yeah.
out how all those pieces fit together, and how the remembrance is gonna show up there. So that's just exciting. Just, is it gonna be past life regression? Is it gonna be activations? Is it gonna be like, what is gonna unfold, and how, for people who are there? It's just so exciting,
Mhm.
so exciting to witness, and I can't wait to be in that space to see all of it. But yeah, I just can't wait to run away.
I
In the
know.
desert, meditating in
Let's be
desert.
honest, that's the real
Let's
reason
be honest.
we're
I'm
doing
just looking, cold plunge, sauna,
yeah.
stargazing. That's kind of
That's
that's a win for me. If nothing else happens,
yeah.
that's a fabulous weekend for me.
Yeah, exactly. But I think you're speaking to something that's very true and very real, because I think that's often something that can just be a huge, I don't like to use the word block, but I'll just use it in this case, block for people, in the sense of like there's a lot going on, life is very full, you're feeling overwhelmed, and it's just like, how do I even get away for, a couple nights to do this? But I think the important thing to remember, and you spoke to this too, is number one, what do you feel called to devote yourself to at this moment in your life? Like if you feel really called to explore this energy and you feel really called to remember who you truly are, then that is something that's worth devoting energy towards and devoting time towards. Then, on top of that, when you allow yourself that spaciousness a few days away from family and running away to the desert and and all of that, that you're also grounding yourself into this energy, into this frequency, which means that you're regulating yourself, which means that your nervous system is no longer on high alert. You're actually bringing yourself into a much more deeply relaxed and regulated state, which, when we do that, what does it do? It increases our capacity. It increases our capacity for what we're able to handle and how we're able to show up. And, in my case, when I think about the moment, like when I give myself the opportunity to actually recharge and give to myself and regulate myself, then when I'm facing two screaming children or like whatever's going on, I am actually much more patient and regulated, and
Right,
have the capacity to hold the emotions of small children, of a
right.
5-year-old and an almost 3-year-old. So
Yeah,
so it's like I have the spaciousness to actually hold you here, and it's not like I'm trying to give from my cup that's already empty and it's
right.
going into the negative. You know
And
what I
that's
mean?
the point. We've been talking about this so much. It's, if you're, a mother, a woman, a caretaker, whatever that looks like in your life, or just, a single woman today. It's just our lives are so full. Everything's so distracting. Everything's draining our energy, and just taking the bold step to give back to ourselves, it's just such a truly immense gift to your soul, to yourself. And then embarking on this other adventure of remembering, and seeing how that shows up for each one of us and what that looks like. We're all on different journeys because they're very individual, and who knows
Yeah.
what's going to unfold. But at the end of the day, we're going on that journey together. You don't have to do it alone. So that's so beautiful. But yeah, if you don't give to yourself, if you don't fill your cup, what is there to give? And so we use we usually are running on an empty tank, and we are, not the best versions of ourselves when we are, yeah, if you don't eat, if you don't rest, if you don't exercise, if you don't meditate, if you don't, take care of yourself, and then you're trying to take care of everyone else around you, and you're walking the dog, and you're with the kids, and you're doing, and you're working, and it's just not sustainable. It's just something's got to give. So giving back to yourself is the best thing you can do for everyone around you and everyone in your life. You're going to be your best self at work, with your family, with your kids, with your pets. Um, so it's only beneficial to do it. And we don't see it like that in life. And just beyond the retreat and the experience, it's something that we need to hear. We need to pay ourselves first.
Mhm.
We need to take those 10 minutes to meditate. We need to drink water. We need to eat. Then we can put on your oxygen
I
mask
was just
first
gonna
and
say
then go to. There's a reason, there's a logic. If you're passing out, you can't help anyone. You need to take
yeah.
care of yourself. So, this is what this experience is meant to be. This is what, Divine Rose Temple and our circle that we're hosting every month, and the retreat that we're doing, and all the experiences that we're designing are that giving to ourselves so we can fill our cup and give back and be better humans in our day-to-day life for it, and go on a wonderful, spiritual journey and adventure, and who knows what else we're going to
Oh
find.
my gosh.
That's so fascinating. But at the end of the day, it's taking care of ourselves and creating a community that can support that growth. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Exactly. It's just creating a space where for you to know that you belong, and you'll know it, you'll feel it. If you feel pulled to it, you belong. You belong here in this community, you belong here in this space, within this space of sisterhood too that we're creating. And yeah, and alongside that, an amazing weekend away to rest, recharge, connect, and remember more of who you truly are. And that's the beautiful part of all of this. And I'm just so grateful to have everyone here joining in on this conversation, joining in on this energy field that we are creating together around remembrance. And I really love the comments that have been coming through around. Someone said they needed to hear that, so I'm so glad. Whatever we said, whenever that comment came in, that
Yeah,
resonated with you.
everything was around the time we were talking about, yeah, giving back to yourself. And
Yeah,
so,
yes,
yeah, take that nap, go on a walk, get on that plane, have that yogurt, like whatever, just
yeah.
whatever that looks like for you. Meditate, take time away. So beyond this experience, and if you can join us, that's amazing. But if you can't, there's a very just invitation, a very open invitation to just take care of yourself
Mm-hmm.
and give yourselves the time and attention that you deserve, so that you can show up better for other people in your life. And yeah, from a spiritual perspective, your soul knows. Even if your human doesn't know, your soul knows. So follow the pulse, follow the thread, follow your happiness, and yeah, your soul knows what it's doing, and that's remembrance.
Yeah. That's so good. So amazing. I love this. And I love this conversation today. This was so much fun to be
Oh,
able to talk and to have you guys here live. Thank you for all your comments. And I really love that this resonated with so many of you. And just having your presence here is so special. And of course, for those of you who are interested to learn more about the retreat, I posted the link in the live chat. Those of you listening on the recording, it's in the show notes below. So you can go check out all of the details. And yeah, it's going to be incredible. I'm
it's
so
gonna be
excited.
amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us. Let us know if you like the live format for the podcast. We
Yeah,
might just keep doing this.
that would be so
So
fun.
yeah, that would be so fun. So just let us know if you enjoyed it. If you'd like to be here, then we can open up, Q and A's and interact with you and have
Yeah.
more like conversations about different topics. And so let us know how you like it.
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun to do a
A
Q&A as
Q and
part of
A, a
like
live
a
Q and
podcast.
A
Yeah, like
episode. That would
live
be so fun.
Q&A podcast. Oh my gosh.
That would be so fun. So yeah,
And
let
more
us know. Let us know if
possibilities.
that's something that you would be interested in. And Yeah, thank you so much for being part of this community. We hope we're giving something to you. You're definitely giving us something back in that sense of just being in this bubble and in this space with all of you. It's amazing.
So amazing, so beautiful, and can't wait to do it again.
Yes.